And I have to say, I love to use my hand when I mix. But obviously, back in our professional kitchen, we've got this big oval mixer that we do like big quantities. But at home, it's very important to, I like doing it in my hand. I always say, you know what, by the time you put out your mixer, by the time you put it together, you could make the pastry. It takes actually longer to clean it than actually making the pastry. And the other important things as well is, you know, mostly if you are a young pastry chef as well, you need to understand the texture with your hands. It's too easy to put it in a mixer, but you don't understand how sticky it's supposed to be or how flaky it's supposed to be. So at least start by doing it by hand, so at least you understand, you know, the good feel with your hands, and after that, you know, yes, maybe you can start to use mixers. So we've got a little bit of salt, this pinch of salt. With that recipe, we're going to be a bit careful with the salt because we're using smoked salmon, which is quite salty already, so we try not to be that together. And I got some unsalted butter here, so in small tube, and it's just chilled, not too cold, but nice and chilled, so not too soft as well. And I'm just going to rub it together, and that's what really the most important part of the technique when you make flaky pastries. That's what's going to make your pastry nice and short, you know, very flaky, very crumbly. In France, it's called pâte sablée, sand pastries, because at that step, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to transform this butter and this flour together to a big bowl of sand, or almost like breadcrumb-like, and that's what's going to give you a beautiful pastry. So you just roll it with your finger, and don't keep your hand inside the mixture like that. Do it quite high so it doesn't stick together straight away. So you really roll it. On a bed of flour. So really the whole concept is to make sure the pastry slide on that bed of flour so it doesn't catch, and you know, you don't stretch it too much. So just gonna and just play around as you work it like that, just to make sure it doesn't stick. And you know, we all got press a little bit on the left or on the right, and you know, if you got an old rolling pin, you will see actually it will start to get bendy a little bit the way you work your weight on it. So as you move along, just get a good feel of the pastry, but never stretch it. People always want to go. They always want to go like that. What's going to happen if you do that? As soon as you go back straight to the oven, it's just going to go. It's going to go back. So almost do the opposite. When you do that, almost push it back. So at least, you know, you're not stretching it, and it won't be stretching back in the oven. So just give it a good roll. And there's a technique as well I explain in the book as well. Mostly if you use a recipe like it's got nuts inside, or it's got a lot of herbs, so it does break a little bit as you roll it. But gorgeous vanilla paste, bean paste all over. And it's like everything, when you bring a kind of unusual flavor to it, don't overdo it. You know, it's very fashionable to use floral flavors like lavender and violet or something. But if you put too much, it's a bit like, you know, cooking your grandma's soap. You know, it's a bit, you know, so it's just you have to be careful not to overdo it. So just a slight brush, and when you're going to bite to that lovely tart, mostly if it's nice and warm, you're going to get that hit of that beautiful flavor of the vanilla. And fused like that. I do another recipe with prawns at home, like a prawns salad, and I leave them in a bag overnight. Look at the bowl, you know.
Yeah, you need a small.
Or do you want to make it in the microwave? Or I've got another bowl. Can you see?
Put on there.
Yeah, please, yeah. So we're just going to melt it nice and gently on a bain-marie there. We're going to leave it there. So, you know, use some good quality dark chocolate. I never go higher than 70%. You know, I always go for a good brand, and I try to keep between 60 and 70%. I always find, you know, if you go higher than 70%, sometimes you become like too bitter, and it doesn't give you a nice taste. You know, it's best to spend more money on a good quality chocolate with a good provenance. You know, with beans who come from, I don't know, South America or for the Caribbean, and than using something with like very high cocoa content who won't taste very nice. So that's going to go there. melt it nice and gently, and we're going to start to mix the ingredients. So